Thought I would share some of the ways that I do magic myself. And it includes analyzing um, different books, information that I research online, um, and usually opening up at random spots and comparing it with things I've already learned through the day, maybe pull a few cards, whatever. Sometimes I just do that. So I was going to do something different with y'all today. It's sort of like chaos magic, but I think it's my own special type. So I'm gonna start with Leo. Once again, so with Leos. The morning Don Juan and I went to the nearby hills to collect plants. We walked about 6 miles on extremely rough terrain. I became very tired. We sat down to rest at my initiative and he began a conversation saying that he was pleased with my progress. I know now that it is I who talked, I said, but at the time I could have sworn it was someone else. It was you, of course, he said. How come I couldn't recognize myself? That's what the little smoke does. One can talk and not notice it, or can move thousands of miles and not notice that either. That's how one can go through things. The little smoke removes the body, and one is free like the wind. Better than the wind. The wind can be stopped by a rock or a wall or a mountain. The little smoke makes one as free as the air, perhaps even freer. The air can be locked in a tomb and become stale, but with the aid of the little smoke, one cannot be stopped or locked in. Don Juan's words unleashed a mixture of euphoria and doubt. I felt an overwhelming uneasiness, a sensation of undefined guilt. Then one can really do all those things, Don Juan? What do you think? You would rather think you're crazy, wouldn't you? He said cuttingly. Well, it's easy for you to accept all those things. For me, it's impossible. I don't know if that resonates in any way. That was also on November 12th, 1968, page 124. This is from A Separate Reality and Right at the Task of Seeing. Now we're going to take something from the Bible. And I open up to Job, chapters 39. Knowest thou the time when the wild goats of the rock bring forth? Or canst thou mark when the hinds do calve? Canst thou number the months that thou fulfill? Or knowest thou the time when they bring forth? They bow themselves, they bring forth their young ones, they cast out their sorrows. Their young ones are in good liking. They grow with corn, they go forth and return not unto them. Who hath set out the wild ass free, or who hath loosed the bonds of the wild ass? Whose house I have made the wilderness, and the barren land his dwellings? He scorneth the multitude of the city, neither regardeth he the crying of the driver. The range of the mountains in his pasture, and searcheth after every green thing. Will the unicorn be willing to serve thee, or abide thy crib? Canst thou bind the unicorn with his band in the furrow, or will he harrow the valleys after thee? Wilt thou trust him because his strength is great, or wilt thou leave thy labor to him? Wilt thou believe him that he will bring home thy seed and gather it in thy barn? Gavest thou the goodly wings of the peacocks, or wings or feathers of the ostrich, which leaveth her eggs in the earth and warmeth them in dust, and forgetteth that the foot may crush them, or that the wild beast may break them? She is hardened against her young ones, as though they were not hers. Her labor is in vain without fear, because, because God hath deprived her of wisdom, neither hath he imparted to her understanding. What time she lifteth up herself on high, she scorneth the horse and his rider. Hast thou given the horse strength? Hast thou closed his neck with thunder? Canst thou make him afraid as a grasshopper? The glory of his nostrils is terrible. Canst He pauseth in the valley and rejoiceth in his strength. He goeth on to meet the armed man. He mocketh at fear and is not affrighted, neither turneth he back from the sword. The quiver rattleth against him, the glittering spear and the shield. He swalloweth the ground in the fierceness and rage, neither believeth he that is the sound of the trumpet. He saith among the trumpets, Ha ha! And he smelleth the battle afar off, the thunder of the captains and the shouting. Doth the hawk fly by thy wisdom, and stretch her wings towards the south? Doth the eagle mount up at thy command, and make her nest on high? 39, 1 through 27. In fact, I've had a few signs myself, but you know. Okay. And this is all from Leo. The last one. Something to think about. The magical gaze. Concentrating the power in thought and focus on a specific thing. This requires no target person or victim, but serves as a technique for thought control in general. We practice this gaze for the sole purpose of mastering the control of our thoughts and focusing our will. Practice has shown repeatedly that a magical process is initiated in the subconscious by the mere focusing of one's gaze. Compare the death posture technique used for charging a sigil, in which the eyes are focused to obtain the desired state of gnosis necessary for charging. By charging the gaze with a statement of intent or command, by making it the center focus, the aura and chakras can be manipulated for healing purposes. However, this requires previous mastery of the gaze in order to work. We then enter a state of gnosis and transfer the command imaginatively and semi-consciously to the target person. This can even go so far to implant an exploding glyph into a victim's aura. An exploding glyph is a sigil designed either according to Spare's method or in any other way that is designed to trigger a self-destruction mechanism in the target person. Figuratively speaking, blows up the opponent's force field from the inside. Since most operations for magically harming others are designed to attack the victim's immune system, exploding glyphs should contain a corresponding command. The glyph is projected in the target person's aura, where it's anchored and then activated, or caused to self-activate by discontinuation of the gaze and distraction vanishing. This example points out again how neutral the techniques of magic actually are. The same gaze can either heal or make someone sick. So, there's much more information, but that's all I'm giving for the Leos that come today. And the Goddess Oracle deck is going to be bodies of water. Spend time near water, lakes, or rivers to recharge your batteries. Solace. Kind of crazy. They were talking about doing a lot of self-energy and healing and contemplation and detoxification. So physically, mentally, emotionally is what I got it from it. If I was doing like a study for myself. Okay, so that was Leo's.